Hey guys, welcome back. So, I want to talk about officers. Now, this is something that I spent a good amount of time and I'm still researching it because officer combination on ships is incredibly difficult to get a grasp of. And it's it's nearly difficult or nearly impossible to master. So as you can see, these are all my officers. The A's and B's and C's are the ships that they're assigned to, and if they're not, then they're not assigned to any ship right now. So, all right. So on my Kumari, I have let's see, Eric's, and since he's the captain, he's the one who has access to his captain ability. So every time the opponent is hit by an energy weapon, Eric's has a 15% chance of burning it. So I put him on my Kumari because the Kumari has two phasers and one torpedo launcher. The phasers are energy weapons. So there's a greater chance of him activating that ability on the ship. So keep that in mind that he's going to burn it. His officer ability, as long as the ship's hull health is under 70% of its value, at the start of combat, Eric's increases its armor by 20%. The other important thing are his stats. So his stats are going, let me just close out of him, are going to contribute to the overall attack, defense, and health. So basically, you're going to take all your officers, add up those stats, and they're going to apply over here. And so when I put an officer on a ship, I want him to have over 100 in one area. So for him, it says defense is 136. Cool. Now we move over to Javed. So Javed, his captain ability isn't going to be activated because he's not the captain. However, his officer ability is, and if the ship is a battleship, Javed increases its armor by 20%. So that's why I put Javed on, because Kumari is a battleship, so he's going to increase the armor by 20%. He also has an attack of 116, and that's another reason I chose him. Plus, they both have a synergy, because I believe they are Nero's crew is that synergy. Yep. Then I took the new guy, who's DJ. Okay, DJ. I think it's DJ Okoye. I'm not sure. I don't want to butcher his name because it's a real person. And so his attack is 126. Health is pretty high as well. But his shatter defenses. So as long as the opponent's ship is burning, he decreases the opponent's crew health by 40%. So he works in conjunction with his captain burning the ship. He can lower the health if that ship is burning. So all three of them work together. Then anyone on the bottom here, none of their abilities come into play. As you can see right here, crew officers increase bonus to attack, defense, and health, but do not give you any additional abilities. The only thing I make sure are their stats. Now, she doesn't have 100, but she's close, and she's close in two different areas. So I like that. And same thing here, 97, 97. And one of my favorite guys, I love Chang. He's got 192 attack. I like him. I had him as my captain for a very long time, but I really wanted to try out this Romulan synergy, and it's worked out pretty well. And let me just show you one thing here. If I take them off, you can see everything has dropped because that's what they were adding to the ship. So every time you level up, like once I level up to level 30, I can put another crew, making that ship even stronger. And who else did I have in here? So I had Chang. Let's see. All right. So that's pretty much how the crew works. One thing I do, is I go into officers, And let's see. I sort it by group because that gives me an idea of who works well together. And I just locked McCoy, and his I'm really liking his ability. So he boosts 20% of all the officer abilities on the ship as a captain. And then he also has, as an officer, is every time the ship gets hit, McCoy increases the defense of all bridge officers by 10%. And so every time it's hit, he's increasing every bridge officer's defense by 10%, which I think is cool. You're going to find that, so the top row here, I believe this group is Enterprise Crew. So there's Enterprise Crew, and then there is going to be the cadet version. And another time is what they're called. Some of these cadets are actually better than the full star versions of themselves. For instance, I'm a big fan of Scotty. Huge fan of Cadet Scotty, because his officer ability is, now because he's such a high rank lieutenant commander, he increases the warp distance of the ship by 4. Means you can go further. His regular version does something different, and I honestly don't think it's all that effective. Increases the total hull health of the ship by 12% of its original hull health, which is nice, but it's nowhere near as useful as being able to go farther than you can. So, let me take a look at someone else here. All right, so I'm gonna explain the miners. So, okay, this has been a very contested thing with the player base. The miners are Barote, Stone, and T'Pring. One does crystal, one does gas, one does ore, and mine's 20% more. So, for instance, Stone, he increases the mining rate of the ship by 20% when mining ore. Now, you might think, oh, hey, he's going to do it 20% faster. No, he mines 20% more. So this is what happens with these crew members. When your mining node gets to 0 and your ship is still mining, even though it's a 0 node, that's because of them. It added more of the mine than what's there. So if another player sees you, they're going to say, oh, hey, you're on a 0 node, I'm going to pop you. Because a common thing in the game is that if somebody's mining and is sitting on a mine, taking it up, and they've zeroed it out, they're being a little selfish because they're not letting anyone else use the mine, and they're not getting anything from it, so blow up their ship. Because everything they have that is protected will go back to their base, and if there's anything over, you could just steal for yourself. But this is the problem when they have these officers on board, is for them, they're still mining. But for you, you can't see that, and you think it's a 0 node. One of the big bugs that's going on in the game right now. But the other thing for you to realize about Stone, which I like a lot, is Stone increases the cargo size of your ship by 20%. So my Envoy, which is hopefully getting replaced by the Horizon sometime, but my Envoy, it can usually carry 144,000, which is really nice. When I'm raiding bases, I can steal 144,000 materials. He boosted up to 172,000, which is incredibly sweet. The other thing, let's see. God, that's Scopely. You got to fix this. If I'm down here and I look at somebody, bring me back down here. And then T'Pring increases the protection of the cargo by 50%. So T'Pring lets you have more protected cargo, which is incredibly nice. So these three, and then let me go over here. And let's see. And Barote, he will actually decrease the opponent's hull health by 10% if you were attacked while mining with him as your officer, which is very sweet. But just to kind of show you crystal mining, he increases the rate of crystal mining by 20%. He doesn't, he just adds more crystal at the end. It's incredibly confusing, but that's how they built it into the game. There's a lot of talk about officer abilities not working, and I will actually, in another video, I'll actually show you where those officer abilities are activating, because we can go through a battle report and you can kind of see move by move which abilities are activating and which are not. But if you have any questions on officers, this is just a real brief rundown of them, but I think it's the important points. One thing I do want to do here quickly is just show you one thing here. No, I don't want to swap my ship. So if I take him out, he's not part of the synergy with Nero's crew. You can scroll along here, and this is one thing I like. Okay, no, I know I have the other one. I think he might be on another ship. But basically, you'll get this little Thunderbolt icon that tells you there's a synergy. For example, let's take them off. And actually, let's put these people in here. So you can see there is a synergy right there. And you can put Chev. There's 15%. And that's 15% additional chance the abilities will activate. And let's go with Vel. He's only given Chen 10%. So so keep in mind, you can swap them out, move them around, play with it. As you can probably see, my stats were moving around a bit. Like let's do Vixis here. She can do, let's see, no, I don't want that one. Oh yeah, she's kind of dumb. Morale, that's who I like. Morale is actually her officer ability. Yeah, she can increase the total attack of all officers on the ship by 15%. So if I move her over here and I move Chang up here, and he's been boosted up to 214. So it's, you just play around with it, and let's see. Move Koth in there. And then he's given Chang a 20% ability, or 20% chance to activate his ability. And he's got, as long as there's a hull breach, he increases kinetic damage by 10%. So you definitely want him on a ship with more torpedoes and phasers. So yeah, just keep all those things in mind. If you do have any questions about officers, post them below. By no means am I an expert on the matter. If you want to school me, please do that as well. But be safe out there, be respectful to one another, and just have fun, guys. All right.